So we're here in the beautiful P.F. Chang's parking lot. It's the beginning of the day. I am extremely tired, but we're getting ready to do a 34-mile march to San Francisco to protest Wells Fargo's funding of fossil fuel projects. I feel like there's a widespread sense of all the problems are bigger than me. I definitely feel like that a lot of the time. But when you're in a large group of people and you're doing something very unusual or something that's a little bit socially taboo, you definitely feel closer to those people. And I think that's helpful in building a fellow feeling among people who are doing something outside the norm.
Whatever this bank does, I would really like us to be in touch with our ability to act together and to understand that through collective action, we have power.
So what happened is I started to read about how we have 12 years to take drastic action to prevent catastrophic climate change. But I think once you understand and you get really scared, then you get motivated to be involved. The first rest stop, my dad decided to take the mic and give a speech.
As a Hindu, I think the earth is sacred, and I think a lot of us share this belief. So it's a sacred obligation for us to preserve the earth. So my salutations and namaste to everyone for being here.
Thank you.
I was proud that he was doing that. My dad was pretty politically active when he was my age, but trying to change things outside of my world, it's a new thing for me. My going on this march gave us something more that we have in common.
When I retired, I really wanted to start looking at things that I could give back. I knew what marches were about, but it's different when you get involved in it. And my job was making sure that we made it from point A to point B safely. It's really the first time that I've really truly jumped in with both feet, arms, legs. We have to take action. We can't just talk about it, read about it, criticize what's not happening. We've got to take action, and this is taking action.
We're at the end of day one in San Mateo. My lower back is hurting, my legs are sore. I guess I've never walked even close to this amount in a single day.
Once we got here, I checked my phone to remind myself how long a marathon was, because I thought we must have done at least 1.5, maybe 3. And a marathon is 26 miles. We have not done a marathon yet, so props to everyone who's ever done a marathon. You guys are crazy. I had some bad blisters last night that I've bandaged. I think they are now doing all right. I was really noticing how it seems every other store we pass is an auto body shop or a car dealership or a gas station. And then everything comes with a huge parking lot, and it's really remarkable how much space is devoted to fossil fuel combustion here.
Hello, nice to meet
you. What's your name?
Taufa.
Before this all started, I was really nervous about the prospect of being arrested. But as we've been doing this walk, I think it's going to be okay.
So tomorrow is the big day.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about risking arrest, but I know you and Mom have some concerns.
It just has a lot of practical problems, I think,
Yeah.
just possibly.
So I'm not going to be risking arrest, but I'm going to provide support to those who are.
It's an important cause. I just, don't know enough about the practical impacts. So, super. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, am I willing to get arrested? And that's a big move. And I've talked to my kids about it, and they don't want me to, But as the march goes on, you start feeling more and more motivated and more willing to get arrested if that's what it takes. Tomorrow, my stomach is going to be churning.
Everybody grab a banner, grab a flag.
There's your sign. Right.
Our responsibility is to block off California Street right in front of the Wells Fargo headquarters. I hope that we fill that block to the max.
As we got further into San Francisco, it felt like every block there was another group welcoming us, which was, helping us get through that very last mile.
Our march went from 200 people down to 50 people, but all of a sudden there was hundreds of people.
And at that point, it really began to feel like something really big.
We're happy that our allies are finally standing with us. Yep. I thank this current president for that.
Yep. Yes, that's right.
Because before he was elected, our liberal and progressive friends were still sitting on their couches.
My team stayed at the corner there, the adrenaline's pumping, waiting for our signal to block the streets.
So we got this?
Yeah! Well, we get the call. So we just took to the street and we're going, oh my God, it's happening. We got the streets blocked. This is really working.
It was very surreal because we were sitting on top of the cable car tracks. At one point I saw someone in the Wells Fargo building had the blinds open and was looking down at us.
Woo! All right, raise your hand if you marched the whole thing.
Wells Fargo, shut it down. Your fossil fuel money is hurting the ground.
Whenever a protest happens, it's because people are imagining something better. Like a future where we are interacting with the earth in a way that's sustainable.
If you would have told me 3 years ago, I would have been blocking traffic on one of the busiest streets of San Francisco to make a point, I would have said, what, But it was part of the commitment that I was willing to make.
The only thing that separates someone who spends an ordinary weekend from someone who goes to a long protest of a bank is just one of them stepped outside. I'd say that as hard as it is to take that first step, there's nothing as hard as sitting back and watching everything go wrong. You'll feel better once you take the first step, even if you don't know what the next one is.